Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to what could easily be multiple videos. Um, but welcome to the Platinum DLC Spotlight, where we have quite a lot of stuff to go through, including the pre-order bonuses, because why not? But we've got quite a lot to go through. Should point out, this giant mess is just the vehicles. But fear not, I actually have stuff set up around the map. I'm on Felsbrunn just for a neutral venue for this. I suppose the best thing to do is just start off by going through all of the vehicles and all of the information, all of the different setups they have. So we start off with the Class Ariane 410, or 460 to 410, or 410 to 460. Wheel brands available: Trelleborg, Nokian. So no Michelins, no Midas tires. You can get a standard wheels, wheel weights, which pop a weight into the rear wheel. Wide tires, which look amazing on this, might I add. Does it do anything to the... No. Also, oh! You can see the cab suspension working. Wide tires with the weights, which is just the chunky boys with the rear weight in as well. And row crops, which look ridiculous. As well as... Oh, that... Okay. I take back this looking ridiculous. This looks ridiculous. A narrow twin wheel at the rear. Or just standard. You can actually get this with the panoramic windscreen, which... Like, it looks weird in the shop. I'm not gonna lie, it looks weird in the shop. Does look quite nice outside of it. Engines available: 410, 420, 30, 40, 50, and 60. And you can get this with or without front loader attacher. So, let's have a look at this little bad boy. I've got it in 410 here, without the panoramic sunroof. I'll actually get the panoramic sunroof just to show you the difference. So if I just get the panoramic design, where did that spawn? There. I've covered up like half of the shop, so it's a bit difficult to figure out where stuff is going to spawn. You can see the quite insane level of detail the Giants have put into this, and I do quite like the sound as well. There is an insane level of detail. There are rumors. I don't know how true these rumors are, but they ring true just looking at the vehicles. I've had a bit of time to play around with them today. I'm not going to say what day today is, but I've had a bit of time to play around with them. And the detail work is amazing. Like, the sounds are really good for the most part. There is maybe one or two exceptions. The interiors are just insanely detailed. Right down to, does this have it? I haven't checked this yet. Does this have the thing I'm looking for? No. Some of the vehicles actually have little hammers to break the glass in case of emergency. But this little thing, it looks adorable. It sounds a lot beefier than it looks. And by the way, this is basically the two versions you can get. Is with or without the panoramic sunroof. I wasn't going to look on this in the shop, but having it in game looks a lot better in game than it does in the shop. So we'll leave that in here, and we're going to build up a second mess in this building. Next up is going to be the Ariane 600 series. I'm going to say 600 series. Again, Trelleborg, Michelin this time, and Midas are available as well as the Nokians. Trelleborgs come with the wheel weights, which will just pop the weight on the rear again. The wide tires, which again look really quite nice. I've got a thing for white tires. The whites on the white tires, proper twin wheels on the rear, just standard wheels. Full-on twin wheels and Care tires as well. Care wheels. Michelin comes with standard wheel weights. Now the Michelins do appear, I haven't actually looked at this yet, the Michelins do appear to be slightly, yeah, they are slightly wider than the Trelleborgs and slightly taller on the rear tyre. But you can get wide Michelins as well, wide tyres with the weights. Full on rear twin wheels, which looks hella beefy. Full on all four wheel twin wheels. This on a tractor that has 145 horsepower, by the way. And just back to your standard wheels. Nokians, there's only the communals. And Midas, you can actually see the drop there from the Nokians. So Michelin and Nokian have pretty much the same rear tire. But then if you put on the Midas, you can see the whole rear end just drops. So with the Midas tires, you got standard wheel weights, rear twins, or full-on twins. There's no wides available. Engines available are the 610, 30, 50, 60, or 50 and 60, I thought there was another one. Again, this comes with or without front loader attacher. No panoramic available on this one. And this one is... I thought for a second I desynced there. This one is over here. Should maybe move the other 400 series. Again, beefy sound. Just move it over here into the light. Beefy sound, lots of detail work going on. You know, the suspension is fully animated, all the hoses seem to stretch and move and deform the way that they should. Just a silly amount of detail at the rear as well, including the rear shocks, which I'm wondering if they are animated. Difficult to tell, but you can see the cab suspension working an absolute treat, especially if I bop into this thing. In fact, this would be a good way to check if the rear shocks are animated at all. Let's run this over, and it appears as if they're not, which is a bit of a shame. But not a great surprise. Again, sounds are amazing. Horn sounds like a horn for once. That's been one of my consistent issues with the FS19 sounds. Interior is like really well detailed. Is that? Yeah, okay. I was gonna complain about that wing mirror having something white in the background. No, that's just a bit of the cab. There's the hammer for breaking the glass. I did say that these had like insane detailing. Yes, right down to the hammer to break the glass. Some slight... I'm not sure if that's dirt or supposed to be there on the plastic on the trim. But everything that you could get into a tractor is in this thing. It is, quite frankly, insanely detailed, and the sounds are just lovely. It sounds like it's ready to just go and do some work, which is always nice to see. Now don't worry, by the way, because I do have stuff set up around the map for other things. Next up is going to be, I think, the Exion 800, or the Arian? Yeah, Exion 800 series. Which, again, comes with Trelleborgs, Michelins, or Midas. No Nokians available for this. Trelleborgs come as standard wheel weights, chonky boys, chonky heavy boys. Big twin wheels at the rear, big twin wheels all around, or just standard. Your Michelins, you got pretty much the same selection. And Midas, you get the Midas wide tires, which are huge. and weighted wide tires. And it basically, you get the same variety, but 3 different designs. So you got the Midas design, the Michelin design, and the Trelleborg design. And I'm quite partial to the Midas tires. They look kind of like you're making a drag tractor, which I approve of. In terms of engine choices available, you got the 800, the 810, 830, 840, 850, 870. And let's hop into it. This one's just the 800. I've gone for the basic of the basics because it was the easiest one to grab. And again, you can just hear the beefiness of the engine. That's something that kind of stands out with a lot of the machinery. There's gonna be 2 items that I complain about, but they're both the same. They both have the same problem. But the engines just sound beefy, and you know, with the right shadow on this, it kind of looks like there's a smiley face on the front. That's kind of adorable. Again, just insane detail work gone into this. A lot of effort, like, the grid is completely transparent. And again, the interior, it's going to be, like, a lot of the interiors you might notice are going to be very, very similar to one another. You know, this is very similar to, I think it was the 600. I think the 900 has a very similar interior again. But there's not much difference you can make in a tractor interior, really, other than making it slightly bigger. So let's put this one into the shed of things what we have looked at already. And now we come to the biggest standard tractor. The biggest normal tractor, which is the Axion 900 series. Again, you've got Trelleborg, Michelin, Midas tires available. They're all, I think they've got all the same selections in terms of wheels. I just want to check that all of these are the same because I can't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, so you got standard weights, widen weights, rear twin, full twin, and back to standard. In terms of engine configs, you got the 920, 930, 940, 950. I've accidentally put wheel weights on 960 and no 970. But is there a 970 Axion? There might not be. Let's move the 410 out of the way because I keep almost accidentally getting into it. And then we'll have a look at the 920 here that I have. Again, big beefy sounding engine. Is there any animated bits in the engine? I've not checked this for anything else, and I've just realized that I should check now to see if there's anything spinning or animated about the engine. Doesn't look like it, but you can kind of see the amount of effort and time that's gone into just the detailing in the front even. Because every little bit of this tractor is as it would be in real life from what I can tell. I can tell you, by the way, they do have the 800 sounds perfect. It's the only class that I've had a bit of up close and personal with in real life, so can't really say much about everything else. But the yeah, the sounds are absolutely mind-blowing. Again, much the same interior as the 800 and the 600. They're just kind of variations on the same cab for the most part, which I think they are in real life, just slightly different sized versions of the cab, I think. In fact, I think they might have the same cab and just, yeah, slightly different sized versions. But again, even just looking at the rear end here, there's very little, well, there's a lot blurring because I've got a light shining out. There's very little that's blurred or out of focus or just looking a bit weird across all the tractors. But now it's time for the big boy, the flagship, the Zerion. And this one has a cool party trick. It's actually got a couple of cool party tricks. So if I bring up the Zerion here, first off, wheels available. You got Trelleborgs, Michelin, Midas, and I think. Oh my god, you can put this on narrow. Why would you ever put this on narrow tires? So you got standard, narrow, standard, wide, twin wheels. For some reason, narrow tires, and for some other reason, narrow twins for Trelleborg. Michelin has, I think, the same variety, yes, and Midas has everything but the narrow twins, because the Midas narrows are more or less the same size as the Trelleborg standards. But here's one of the party tricks that I find kind of cool. So this is the class Zerion 4000 here. If I select the 4500, which is the next engine up, the nose changes, because the 4500 and the 5000 both have a bigger radiator than the 4000. You can actually see extra ducting and stuff for the bigger radiator. So I think I've got a 4000 outside, so let's get a 5000 as well. Haha, I did guess correctly. And again, engine sounds are, for this, pretty much on point, I think. I've not seen a Zerion in real life, so can't comment specifically. But detail work is all there, complete with a little chain on the front 3-point. And just grills and meshes where they would be in real life. I need to get something else actually for this, and because I want to test something. I've not planned this, so bear with me one moment while I get just this will do. Because in theory, no, no, never mind. I'm just going to shove this. I'm going to have to get rid of that, but I'll do it off camera. The sounds are pretty insane with this, again. It sounds beefy, sounds chunky, sounds powerful. The reason that I got the gold offer was this does technically have a fifth wheel. Oddly, there's no equipment that I can make out that actually works with the fifth wheel yet. But, I'm sure that something might come along sooner or later as a mod. Interior on this is, again, just a variation on the same interior. See the last 3 tractors in a row, which isn't really a complaint, just observation. Is there a little hammer for breaking windows? No, doesn't look like it. But, detail work is really top notch. Because I need to bring this up now. Because there is a couple of things that I've not looked at yet. We have the steering modes. You can go front wheel steering, rear wheel steering, crab steering, left and right, and all wheel steering, which is set on by default, as well as this little trick. The party trick of the Zerion. The fact that you can run it completely backwards, and instead of just a chair turning around or a seat turning around, the entire damn cab goes round. It is one of the more unique things in farming, I think. And again, I'll very quickly grab the 5000 because I've not actually looked at that myself yet. But very interesting detail work and very interesting machinery. It's something that I've been looking forward to with this DLC. Is the engine sound of the 5000 sounds slightly different. It sounds like this has a different engine. Does it have the same interior? It's got the same interior as the 4000. And of course, it can do the same party trick of turning the entire cab around, which I always find kind of hilarious and adorable, because it looks ridiculous when you've done it. It looks absolutely ridiculous when you've turned the cab around so the entire vehicle is basically facing the wrong way. But it's something the class have decided is a cool feature, and I applaud them for for thinking outside the box and being unique with that. I've just realized that I've been recording now for 20 minutes. Let's pause the recording for a second. I'll get rid of the gold hopper and get set up for the next few items. So the next few items are comically going to be a couple of the tractors again. I do have stuff set up here. I've got a test of strength. So we'll start off with a 410. And what I want to show off now is the front loaders. Because the harvesters, I'm going to have to tab around the map to get everything for them shown off. So the front loaders do look a bit, to me, a bit weird. So I've picked a bag of lime, 2,000 liters of lime, because it's one of the heaviest things in game. And the little 400 series Arian can't really cope with a bag of lime. But if I were to buy some weights, which, let's show off the weights real quick. So you got 600, 900, 1800. I think this has some cool tricks. Ah, yes, you slap another 600 kilo weight on front of the 600 to make it 1200. So you get double the amount of weights. Let's get a 1200. Let's have a look at the 900 kilo weight, which also has a 600 kilo weight in the front. How's the front weight like? Just straight up 600 kilos. And the 1,800 kilo weight, which expands to 2,000, 2,200, 2,400, 2,600. That is a monstrously heavy weight. Is it the heaviest weight in the game? No, there's a 3,300. Let's get that as well. See if we can... Let's see if the little Arian can handle a 2.6 ton weight on the back. It somehow can. I mean, now it wants to pop wheelies, but it can handle that weight. Can it now handle that weight? And this is probably going to crush all 4 tires, but let's see what happens when I lift up the bag of lime, which we're using as our generic heavy item. Works pretty well now. Probably don't need the full 2.6 tons of weight on the back, but it worked. You could probably get away with a lot less. Alright, this little guy over here, and we will grab that. By the way, was the FL120, I believe. Yeah, the FL120C. Let's go get the FL140. Which is here. That's... no, not you. Is here. On the class Arian 610. I just want to verify that it is in fact the 140 I have here. Yes. There's a lot to look at. There's no options for the front loaders, so I'm not going to show them in the shop. I don't feel like there's much of a point. The weights have some cool options. But don't see there being much of a point in showing off the front loaders themselves. So let's do a bit of a pickup here. And the Arian, of course, doesn't really care about 2 extra tons on the front. Or probably closer to 3 extra tons. A few extra tons on the front. Works pretty nicely. And the FL140 gives it pretty good reach. About the same as most wheel loaders have. You can't really... this would be good for bale stacking, actually. So next up, we're back in the shop for a front loader. As I've been calling this, the teeny tiny Torian. This is I think this is adorable. Again, insane amount of detail work in the back. Really nice detail work in the front as well. Just the detail work across this DLC, in terms of models, is stunning. In terms of options, you have an option to put on an extra pair of wheels at the front. That's it. Standard or front twins. I have one set up as standard right here. Now, it's not got the best top speed in the world, topping out at 23. You know, it's not going to set any land speed records. But for a really small yard loader, you could probably do a lot with sheep and stuff. Maybe use this as a way to clean out your cows or something. Exterior model, as I've already said, is really, really nice. Just the detail work is amazing. The fact the hose is all... You know, I wouldn't expect any less than the hose is all working dynamically and properly, but it still looks good. The actual attacher has a bit of self-leveling going on. Not 100% going up, but going down, it kind of self-levels. Interior, again, you can see the little hammer. Interior is pretty well detailed. It has, for some reason, a French fire extinguisher. Press safety but oh, it's okay. It might be Canadian because it's in French and English. Press safety button. Press operating button. Aim jet at base of fire. that's definitely instructions. One downside of this that you've probably already noticed, or a potential downside, is of course that it is articulated, which isn't going to be for everybody. But it gives it a quite good turning circle. You know, it's got a... You know, it's not quite skid steer small, but it's... For a loader of this size, quite a small turning circle, and this is something that I've been looking forward to. How does it handle weight? Quite well, actually. Except when I do that. Doesn't like being very front heavy and you doing that. But I do like this loader. It's probably like all the loaders except the one I'm going to look at next. Of all the, you know, front scoop loaders, front loaders, or wheel loader style loaders, this is my favorite out of the DLC. Next up, however, is something that can be a bit ludicrous, because I'm going to skip the wheel loaders for now. The Scorpion 1033. Wheel options are standard wide tires, standard or wide trailer boards, or just some communal Nokians. Let's run over to it. And we'll start off by looking at the interior of this. Again, sounds for this are really good. Interior is really well detailed. You can get a good view of everything you're going to be doing with the loader arm. You can use this in first person. There is a little hammer there, a little black hammer for breaking the glass. And the exterior model, again, is really well done. I can't see many people doing a better model than this. You know, it's about as good as you're going to get for a Scorpion. Short of just somehow getting a real life one into a game. The horn is hilarious and pathetic. Oh, it's got steering modes, so you can go all-wheel steering, front-wheel steering, crab steering as options. And that's about it. But it does have a little party trick, which is the telescoping. Which, yeah, that's quite impressive. That is quite an impressive reach. I mean, you know, that's up at the very top of where it can go. Except the actual reach is far more ludicrous. That is absolutely ludicrous. It is by far the longest reach on a telehandler in game, and it comes. You can get it at a middle of the road price for in-game telehandlers. I see no reason not to use this as just the only telehandler I'm going to use in single player from now on, because that reach is hilarious. I can, you know, you can load trailers from the other side of the map almost. It doesn't quite get very happy, you know, when you put a heavy weight on the front of it fully extended, but can you not do that, please? Oh, don't get stuck on top of the combine. I want to see if I can put this bag of lime on top of the shop. Because I was looking at this earlier, and I think that it might be possible. So if I go full extension and full extension, can I put a bag of lime on top of the... Not quite. I mean, I can get the bag of lime to just about the bottom of the roof, but not quite the top of the shop. In terms of ludicrousy, this is my favorite loader, by far. Because that reach is amazing. And granted, it's not very stable when it's got 15 meters of... when it's got 15 meters of arm in front of it, but it's got 15 meters of arm you can play with. I think next is going to be, yeah, the wheel loader triplets. Well, they're not triplets, but they are big Torians. I'm only going to look at one of the 19... Well, actually, I'll look at both of the 1914s. There are some slight differences. So first up is the Torian 956 sinus infection. Now, just sinus. You can go between Trelleborg, Nokians, or Mitas tires. The Mitas tires being the biggest of the three. But with Trelleborg, you can opt to have front twin wheels. I'm going to opt for just using the one that I've got over here. Which, again, exterior detailing is really good. And the sounds, pretty good. Something that is cool about this and unique is, you might notice the rear wheels are actually turned when it's articulating. Is there a way... Is that something I can change here? Doesn't look like it. No, the rear wheels turn when it's articulating to reduce the turning circle. Just so that it turns a bit nicer. And I'm not going to pick up the bag of lime with this. This is going to handle a bag of lime really well. It's a wheel loader. It's a small wheel loader, but it's a wheel loader. Yeah, it's not going to have much hassle picking up 2 tons. So, I will leave that there and just kind of give you a look at the outside. I'd love the fact that all of the grills you can kind of see through and see what's behind them. Regardless of whether, you know, whether it's something that needs high detailing or not, everything is detailed to near perfection, I would say. And I'm not going into the full detail of everything. I could spend literally hours just peering in through every grill and looking up reference pictures. Ain't nobody got time for that. Actually, probably somebody does have time for that. But finally, the Torian 1914, which you literally only have an option of Trelleborg, Mitas, Michelin, or Nokians. I say finally, we do have the dev mule to look at. Again, I'm not going to be picking up the little bag of lime with this, it would be kind of ludicrous. Notice the fan up behind the grill there. Because she's a spinning. And she's, I think it spins slightly faster when you pick up speed as well. So this is, I would say, the sole disappointment in the DLC, because the sounds for this are to be, I'm trying to decide, do I want to be just blunt or do I want to be nice, but they're wrong. The sounds are wrong. It sounds nothing like an actual Torion 1914. If you want to look up a Torion 1914, please do. The sounds are on YouTube. There's videos on YouTube. The sounds are straight up wrong, and that's a bit of a shame. There is a info plate on the side, which I think is worth looking at. I think it's the one on the side here. I was told to have a look. And I can't see it, but apparently there's an info plate somewhere on this vehicle, and I think the other Torians as well. That points out the fact that this isn't actually a class. This isn't a class. It's a repair that's been repainted. A fun little fact for those of you that don't know, or might not know, is that class don't make loaders. That Scorpion is a repair as well. Class don't make their own loaders. They repaint Liebherrs. It's a legal dealing they've done where they effectively buy and repaint Liebherr loaders, and the class loaders are then only allowed to do agricultural jobs, whereas the Liebherrs are only allowed to do industrial jobs. And finally, the Dev Mule, which has dazzle camo, so I instantly like it. I'm not even kidding, I've accidentally hit the wrong button. The Dev Mule, which I do genuinely like the dazzle. I like dazzle camo things. So again, same wheel options. Same wheel options. There are a couple of minor differences between the Dev Mule and the actual Torion, which I can't remember off the top of my head, but there are some very, very small minor differences. Is it this that has the info? Something has a blue info panel, I've been told, by Landykid, and that says it's a Liebherr, but these are just Liebherrs that have been effectively repainted. Again, sounds aren't quite up to what is correct, which does suck. The horn is terrible also. But we do have the security hammer, so I feel safe in this vehicle. Other than the sound, though, is there any difference between? I've been told there are some slight differences between the Dev Mule and the actual Torion, but I want to believe. By the way, the Dev Mule is a pre-order bonus. Thoroughly recommend you pre-order for something we'll be looking at in the next segment, which is probably going to be the next video. You might be able to see it there. Everything bar the Torion has really nice everything. The Torion's the only one that's even a slight disappointment, and that's because of the sounds. But I think I'm going to stop recording here and start a second video. Just to get through the rest of this stuff, else this will be well over an hour long.